What is good, everybody, and welcome to This is Rocket League with myself and Hoodie. Today we have honestly, we're talking RLCS. Today is all about Oceania. It's all about MENA region. It's all about the North American region. We want to just fill you in on everything that happened. I got to watch a lot of it, which was super exciting, especially because there was like not drama, Hoodie, but like some old past teammates battling it out. Yeah, crushing each other down. You know, some things I remembered from our chat. So,
that's right.
Dude, our genius.
We had some underdogs popping off.
Yeah.
We had some of our top teams kind of looking weak.
Yeah.
It was a fun weekend of RLCS, so let's kick it off with MENA.
Yes.
You know the drill. Team Falcons, that's your top dogs. You got to take them down.
Always.
And this week, unfortunately, it didn't happen. Rule 1, that Sunless team and Civic team, and they're popping. They're a great team. With the pickup of Messin, they have been incredible, but they still have not climbed over that final hurdle of taking down Team Falcons. Falcons top their group. Rule 1 top their group. This Vision Esports team, I want to point them out for a moment, though, John, because this Vision Esports team is actually rocking and rolling as well. SMW, Sinzo, and a lot of you will recognize Sinzo, and Basil. They are definitely a team to watch out for. This empty roster, impressive. Twiz, Faisal, Cola, Venom, IX, I'm not sure, maybe, I'm not sure what it is, 9, I'm not sure, and Vampire, plenty of talent in MENA. I know that Falcons has this region in a stranglehold, but I promise you there are so many talented players here. It's just a matter of time.
Did they crush everything like Falcons? Like scroll down?
The thing is, they do win, but they don't crush. Okay. Now, last season, they were absolutely dominant, but this season it's not the case. I mean, they've lost a regional. You know, Rule 1 is taking a regional from them.
Absolutely.
Look at it. This Cola team top their group as well.
Nice,
and
Cola.
keep their name in mind, because look here. So we get to the playoff bracket, and Cola ends up taking down Empty. That's a team that I said you got to keep your eyes on.
Yeah.
But look at this, John. They were up. They were on match point for 2 matches.
Oh my God.
And Falcons ended up bringing it back.
Cola.
They finally got the dub.
Wow.
Cola took the first 2. They ended up taking, game 4 as well. So Cola's on match point. They were up 3-1.
Falcons 4-0'd Rule 1.
And then Falcons. Now look, when I saw this right here, and I see Falcons 4-0 Vision, Rule 1, I said, whoa, Rule 1's about to take them down. Falcons looking weak in the semifinal. They get the win, but they're looking a little bit weak. And then no. Falcons just freaking steamrolled. I mean, they were incredible, man. They played so well in the finals.
That's awesome.
And I gotta say this, my personal opinion, John, I think it's just a mental thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's one of those things where they have been on the top for so long, and it's so hard for these teams to truly have confidence going up against them, because it's like, and they're just that giant. They did get to 4-0, and John, I really do just think that it's kind of just this mental hurdle for these teams. You know, they got that giant team in the region that it's hard for them to build confidence against that team.
Speaking of mental too, you said this, and I want to pull up a tweet that I know we have. Nolly from Gen G talked about mental, and I just want to show this off on the show, because sometimes y'all say some things that I'm just like, yes, absolutely.
Preach it.
Nolly said, so many pros make such small mistakes that could make them great. And I want to say something, but I don't want it to be like, I have a big ego, but it's such a small things like minuscule level, even mentality. I say this because I'm not fantastic mechanically, but I win because of the mentality and willingness to grind and treat this like a job. So when I see mechanical beasts just lose it, it frustrates me that people are just wasting so much potential, but maybe it's not that deep. Dude, I think you get it exactly. I truly believe that a lot of these games are won or lost. Everyone's there mechanically or within a certain percentage where you guys got it. But the mentality and how you come into the game and how you view the game, and if you're having fun, and if you're having a good time, and if you're like, can just be there, whether your coach gets you there or your players or your teammates, honestly, we've seen, how many people have we seen leave the scene or leave a team because they just aren't feeling it with their teammates or kick a player, and like, it's like, what? But at the same time, you need to have that mental clarity. You need to be on. And I love that, man. I love that.
That mentality right now, the way these players and teams achieve it is by playing with their friends, playing with the people that they get along with, right? Absolutely. But what it actually is we need to kind of flip that. If they all had this approach where they are willing to willing to learn, willing to treat this like a job, the willingness to grind, the willingness to kind of put your own personality, maybe your own ego aside and treat this as something larger than just you, then you end up in these situations like Genji. Nolly didn't even know Chronic. John, he didn't know Chronic last season. He didn't know who he was.
I know.
And now he talks about, there's another tweet, And you go looking on Nolly's profile, he responds to somebody, they say, like, what's Gen G doing? He said, man, we just love each other.
Oh, I love that.
If all these pros would approach each of their team in that way, where they could support one another, they could bounce ideas off of one another, criticize one another, accept criticism from one another, and just talk and work things out. Whether it's tactically on the field, mentality stuff, they've got, you know, Appjack in an interview this weekend, John, he talked about how Complexity kind of has this like mental edge over them because Complexity is one of the teams that they have struggled to beat in North America. And he said, specifically, I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid. And I think it just takes a lot of confidence and courage to address those things instead of just ignore them. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. So sorry to interrupt our, you know, our giving you the RLCS, but I think things like that and tweets just like, you know, it triggered me in a good way where you were talking about like just
the mental hurdle.
Mental hurdle. You said mental hurdle, and I'm like, yes. Like,
you know, we're talking about this mental hurdle and the mental dynamic and how some of these social dynamics and even roster changes play into things. So, John, I think that's a great segue to OCE. All right, we got Pioneers. One of your top 2 teams in OCE.
Yep.
It was the team of Banana Head, Scrubbed, and Super Lucky.
Yeah.
And in this past trade window, John, they decided to make a change. They brought in a new player named Hunter, young mechanical talent. We'll see how things pan out. But Super Lucky obviously got the short end of that stick and ended up looking for a new roster. Well, he found a home with Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. I know that.
Kaka. Great name.
It used to be called Kaka's Minions, dude.
They were.
And
obviously Super Lucky has joined. Now Super Lucky is on the Demon Revenge arc, John.
Yeah.
Ground Zero went crazy. Look at this. They 3-0 group stage. By the way, Pioneers
were in there. I know.
They didn't drop a game.
Nope, nothing.
They went 9-0, 3-0 sweeping all
so
three
did
of their
Merge,
opponents.
so did Power, like Go Power, like
Check this. They don't stop there. They 3-0 Direwolves.
Done.
They
beat Power out.
Oh, wait, I'm looking at Pioneers. Hold on. Let me go down here. Excuse me. Ground Zero. They 4-0 Hustle G. They 4-0 Him Police. And then they only dropped 1 game in the finals.
Almost perfect. Almost perfect.
Almost perfect
1 game
through the
away.
regional, John. They went crazy.
Yeah, I love that.
So we want to talk about that mental, that competitive approach. Super Lucky, he said, you know what? I take that personally.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna kick me? I'm gonna show you what's up. And they went crazy. And there's big implications with this, right? Because Pioneers and Power have kind of been your 2 top dogs. And sure, they're fighting over 1 seed, 2 seed, whatever. Nobody's really challenging them, right?
Yep.
Well, somebody's here to challenge them. Ground Zero, the real deal.
What makes this even more exciting, I didn't want to cut you off, is Ground Zero, the original Ground Zero team, was bought out by Power.
Yeah.
The old Ground Zero was bought. Went over to Power, became the Power team. And this is just, I love it. Dude.
This is org revenge. This is player revenge.
There's a lot of revenge arcs going on in OCE, which is super exciting. And if you follow along with it, like this made this so much fun to watch and so great to see. And honestly, very, very impressive from Ground Zero. So let's get to like what, you know, a majority of the people know about. But hey, listen, once you start following these other, I mean, listen, you have so much RLCS, you could just dive into it. But we'll catch you up in case you don't have time to watch it.
All right, so we'll go NA, and I want to break this down real quick. So we had this tiebreaker. We talked about this earlier in this split. There were 3 teams that were tied for 7th place. The top 8 go straight to the main event. So one of these teams had to be kicked to close qual, and this is how they decided it. So the tiebreaker, Complexity ended up going through, Furia went through to the main event, and then Optic had to go to close quals. Not a big deal, especially when you look at how Optic performed. We go over to close quals. They went 3-0. They're fine. They're right into the main event, okay? Shopify Rebellion 3-0, straight into main event. And then we had Accrue, Dig, M80, Knights, Koi, and Team Axel also making it in. Ghost Gaming falling short. Dark Zero falling short. Charlotte, and so on and so on. So just a quick, little step bros. Just a quick recap there of the close qual. So let's jump right into the main event. We got big stuff happening here. John, we had a wild North American regional. North America typically is fairly standard. You've got your top 6, top 7, top 8, and typically they finish some order in the top 8. They don't really fall too far, and if they do, they usually fall out in that very final round before top 8. So they'll be 9 through 11.
And also, people were like expecting, like, Friday started and they were like, oh, it's kind of boring. Like, it's going to be another boring just RLCS. I said it too. I was just like, all right, this is like kind of like good, but like the games were just like whatever. They're like kind of lollygagging. I was like, it's going to be a pretty straightforward RLCS. Nope.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. So first and foremost, we got Group A, Gen G Mobile One Racing, your top dogs, your major champions. They ended up being beaten by Complexity, who topped the Group 3-0. We had FaZe, who is, at the moment, a lot of people would consider them the number 2 team in North America. They got beat by Furia, who topped the group. You had G2 over version 1, which is not too big of a shocker.
Yeah.
And then we had that Group D, and I don't know if you remember this, but I talked about how I would consider this a group of death, and not because they're the strongest, but because it's the most wide open, and I knew that anything could happen. What I said was if M80 can get one win against one of these teams, and they did, and they got the head-to-head win over Optic. So when Optic and M80 are tied in game differential, it goes to head-to-head, and M80 beat Optic, so M80 goes through, Optic's out.
Knocked them out, dude. What?
When you have these groups where there's not just like Gen G is for sure in, Complexity for sure in, and then you've got 2 teams that are kind of battling for 4th. That was not the case for Group D.
No.
We know that NRG, sometimes they lay an egg. Sometimes Optic flubs. Sometimes even Space Station flubs. They did. Space Station lost to Optic, who got last.
Dude, there's a great...
So this is one of those groups that you just look at and you think, you know what? That's a recipe for disaster right there. Something fishy is going to happen. And it did.
There's a great short of you and I, and we were talking about FaZe, and the whole FaZe thing, you're like, this is gonna be Caster's Curse. Literally happened. Literally happened. It's like, oh,
it did.
man.
I know. FaZe never drops those games. And what do? They dropped to M80.
Right,
if you don't know who M80 is, we'll give you one
beginning.
Percy, Percy, Lion Blaze, and Kensei, great players. But should FaZe be losing to them? No, they should not.
No.
Now, one other squad that we gotta highlight.
Yeah.
Digna freaking Toss.
Went nuts.
They went wild, John. Look at this run from them.
Dude, it was awesome to see. 3-0 version 1.
Yes.
4-2 Space Station. I couldn't believe, I thought they were gonna take Complexity, 100%. Even though,
dude,
I just thought maybe they're just popping off.
Now, you know what's a fun story with this Dig squad is Evo. It's a young player. He turned 15 at the very end of last season, has not been able to make RLCS. He started this season on a team named XSET. He was playing with Rapid and I think Percy at the time. They didn't make it through close qual. And John, they kicked him after one event. So Evo was stuck throughout the entire fall split waiting. He was just waiting. Yeah. Because he had locked into this team and they decided, you know what? One poor performance. Evo joins Dig in his first ever RLCS event. He's top 4.
And Dig, correct me if I'm wrong, Dignitas has been a little floppy. They haven't been what we know Dignitas to be. They've been
definitely not
around top 16, but maybe lower half.
They've been chronically 9 through 14.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
They almost never make top 8.
Yep.
And now, as soon as they grab this young talent in Evo, and you know what? I gotta say, I saw comments on Reddit and Twitter and everywhere else in between, saying Evo was not good enough. He wasn't ready for 3v3 play. Sure, he's great in a 2v2 rank. Sure, he's great in 1v1s. But we saw it here with XSET. He's not good enough. Well, what do you think now, folks? Evo is good enough. Yeah. And that team right there, I'm telling you, I am not predicting them to be one of your top 5 major regulars, okay? But what I will say is they can regularly take games off those top 5.
Shock you? They can shock you.
Yes, they can. They've got that punch-up ability. I'm here to tell you, these top 5, top 6, do not overlook Dig. They are mechanically talented, they are fast, and they are hungry. They want to win, they want to climb to that next level. And here we are. Once again, John, back at that mentality. I know. A lot of those top teams, they kind of become, it's not complacent, but they expect to be top. Right? We're supposed to be here. We've been here for a while. We're supposed to be here. Yeah. But when you got teams hungry like Dig, they're ready
Young
to work
Bucks,
to
man,
get there.
just working. But does it even matter, Hootie, when you have Gen G who's just dominating? Back to Nolly's tweet, back to everything. They are just people are comparing them. They're like, who's better, right? BDS, the BDS of our generation, or now them. Who is it? They're crazy. They are cracked out of their minds, and they just moved. A bunch of them moved.
I know.
What?
It's so impressive. I think it's a huge testament to all 3 of those players and their approach as competitors, as professionals. They work hard. That's the bottom line. They work hard. They work well together. They're willing to hear criticisms. We got to give a shout to Coach Aleutian. He has obviously done a fantastic job with that team, keeping them pointed in the right direction. One thing I compare coaching, when those geese fly? Yeah. They got the V.
Yeah, the cool V.
That's what the coach does, right?
Keep them in the V.
You got to get them pointed in that V, because if your team, you got one pointed this way, one pointed this way, it ain't gonna work. Yeah. So we got to give a shout to Coach Aleutian. He's doing a fantastic job with that Gen G roster, and nothing but praises. We just got to sing praises. Chronic, a player that really doesn't have too much experience in RLCS. He jumped in here and he's just a freaking wizard. I mean, he's incredible. He's rising to the occasion. He's not being bothered by the high intense situations. He steps up to the plate and he hits a home run every freaking time. He's got Noli and Jack, incredible leaders, incredible players. And something I love, John, in that interview after the championship was won, you know what Jack said? He said, we just play selfless. We play for each other.
Yeah.
I'm not playing to get these stats or to get these clips. We just
like great human beings, dude. They seem like great humans. I don't know, man. I'm just loving right now just all these teams and all the players who are on these teams. Like, it just feels so good. And maybe that's because this is the first time I've known them all. So maybe this is just a me thing, but I'm just like, I feel like, man, it's just so cool to see when teams click and when they do it and when they show off and when they're on top. And then guess what? There's going to be a time when they're no longer on top and they need to make changes and things need to change. And watching those people and seeing how they act and how they react and how they handle things that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for, I can see them on top, but I also want to see them on bottom. Like, obviously, I never want to see someone like, you know, sad or
upset. But how do they deal with that adversity?
How do they deal with the adversity? It's like exciting to me. It's exciting to me.
Absolutely. On that, we got NRG making a top 8.
Yep.
And I do want to say, while they still lost to G2, one of your top 5 teams, they haven't really broken back into that top era. That top area, excuse me. They look great while doing it, John. And I got to say, if you did not watch this series, go watch it. If you're an NRG fan, go watch it. It's going to be promising. You look at this. This is game 2, overtime. I got to tell you, they were winning. They were winning rolling into the final like 20 seconds here. And G2 ended up tying it up.
Look at this
2-1.
second overtime.
I mean, they played them close. Look at this game, 5-minute overtime.
They needed a timeout after that.
NRG played them so well, and I know it's a loss, but you know, we talked about it on my stream today. This loss against G2 actually encourages me more than all of their other wins. This win against the Knights, that's a good win. They should be proud of it. Good for them. This win against Optic, they should be proud of it. Good for them. And a win against M80, great. The wins are great. But this right here, this was it was a level of gameplay that I personally haven't seen from them in a while, and it got me excited because I've truly believed the whole time that they've got the talent, you know. And here we are back at it again. But when you are these iconic figures, Justin inspired half the pros who are playing today, you know. When you are Squishy Muffins, who is, you know, advancing the mechanical meta throughout history of RLCS, when you're Garrett freaking G,
I mean, that's
you've been to every world championship ever.
Everything, yeah.
Like, that's a lot of weight to carry around.
Oh, geez, man.
That's right, man. And they've been successful for so long. And so it's just hard when you start to falter a little bit. It's going to be easy to get in your head, especially when a community is so savage. NRG fans, they are fickle. They will turn on you in a minute. I know.
You old man.
So, you know, I'm excited and I'm encouraged because I think that they've still got it. They just got to make it happen. They got to execute on the day. And they did it this day. They missed a couple shots. They should have scored, but I'm excited because they're taking steps. They're getting closer to what we know and love as the old NRG.
That's it.
So NA, John, full of shenanigans. It was a great event.
Fun.
You know, we had some upsets. We had some Cinderella runs. Dignitas, very exciting. FaZe going out early. B1 going out early. What we got to say is the implications for the major, John, is wide open.
Yeah. It really
Any team could take it.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Thank you all so much for sticking with us, for hanging with us. If you have any questions, throw it in the comments. We're always there. If you have anything, please make sure to like the video. We're trying to get in the algorithm of like the news show, you know, it's like a new show. So it's tough to grow, but no big deal. You guys, honestly, your comments are carrying us. Just like the supportive, like
appreciate that.
Letting us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want, like what you would love to see. Like, we just appreciate it so much. So we will see you all soon. Another episode coming up, probably within a day or two, and we'll see you then. Peace out, everyone. Later.